It's day 29 of the Moto X 30-day challenge, and this time around I'm talking about some of the final things that I love and don't love so much about this flagship smartphone from Motorola. We're also talking about Android KitKat, or Android version 4.4, which was just announced by Google this morning, and we'll talk about how it works into the strategy with the Moto X. It's day 29. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneZog.com. Let's go and see how this performs. Yes, Android 4.4, KitKat's the talk of the Twitters and the Facebooks right now, but the Moto X is here in my hand, and I'm one day away from being done with the 30-day challenge, and I do want to talk about it in addition to how I think the KitKat strategy will fit into this. I want to talk about the pros and cons of the Moto X as a device, not just as a standalone device, but as a device compared to the Galaxy S4, the HTC One, the Optimus G Pro, the G2, and all those other high-end devices that you can buy with your hard-earned dollars on your respective carrier. In day 29, I'm kind of recapping some of my love and hate things about this device. I love a lot of things about the Moto X, and I will say this, if you watch my videos, you know I'm not a huge fan of stock Android or the overall look and feel of near stock Android. My perception has 100% changed, or I should say about 90% changed with the Moto X. The overall design is fantastic for conference calls, a thing which I'm on pretty regularly in my job. This thing is great for holding up to my ear. Nice place for your index finger. We've recapped most of this in the video, but still nice places for your index finger to hang out. And then, of course, easy to hold up to the ear. So from an ergonomics perspective, this device is fantastic, but it also packs some goodies under the hood, such as Moto Assist, which I've talked about, covers things like driving, meeting, and sleeping. And then, of course, you have Moto Connect, which is a widget or an extension, rather, that you can install through your Chrome browser and check your text messages and respond in real time from your browser as opposed to your device. So that's great for me when I'm sitting in a meeting, I'm using my laptop, I don't want to pull my phone out because I don't want to be that guy that pulls his phone out in a meeting, so I can send and receive text messages just like I can emails on my laptop. Then of course with Moto Connect, when somebody calls me, even if I have my phone face down or in my pocket, I can see it over on my computer. Love that feature as well. For a business user, that's a fantastic feature. I can't underscore how important that feature is to this device, and actually to the Motorola Droid devices as well. You can access it through the Droid Ultra, the Droid Max, and the Droid Mini. Also like the migrate feature a lot, which we actually did not talk about in a video, but you can see it here. I'll start it up just so you can take a look, and you can see migration here. Copy my old stuff from my phone. I can take care of text messages, call history, SIM contacts, media, volume, screen, and brightness, and you can see the Android 4.2 / Google hand here with the italicized Next font right there. Migrate's a great tool, and it'll cancel that out when I close it, so we'll go ahead and do that. And in addition, you've got things like Moto Care, Moto Tips, and more. And then active notifications is one of my favorites. When I put this phone down on the desk and pick it up, it'll light up in active notifications. I'll put it down for just a second and pick it up off the desk so you can see what I'm talking about here. Sometimes it takes a hot minute to activate, so it may not work with it being in my hand, but active notifications just lights up the pixels on the display itself, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of battery life. So if you have messages, you can see those messages by pressing and holding. They'll show up here, and of course you can unlock by swiping down outside of the traditional lock screen that you see on Android 4.2. Like all this stuff a lot, and then one of my favorites, I don't use it often, but one of my favorites is OK Google Now. OK Google Now. Text message 555-1234 message, hey there. And it didn't catch my message that time, but usually it'll catch it and say, and I can send the message right there through Google Now. But Google Now is actually pretty functional as well. Google Now, okay Google Now. What is the biggest company in Dallas? And we'll let it load up. And you can see it brings up search engine stuff right there. But then of course you can also do things with the device. Okay Google Now, set an alarm for 8 o'clock. And so I can do that. That's really cool, and very much like Siri on iOS or on the Apple iPhone 5 and on certain versions of older iPhones. So I can do that all from using the OK Google, and I'm not going to say the last word because it'll activate it, prompt, which I like a lot. Downsides, camera on this device leaves a little bit to be desired, both in the overall software implementation and then in the camera itself. It's a 10 megapixel camera with 1080p HD recording, and it does pale rather in comparison to options like the Galaxy S4, the HTC One, the iPhone 5, and some of the other high-end devices on the market. Keeping in mind that this is also $199, I think it's a fair comparison to pit this up against some of the other high-end devices that you're going to have a choice in when you walk into the store. So still, 4.7-inch screen, really kind of edge to edge. It really looks nice, and it fits well in the hand. So it travels great across the display. It's very ergonomically friendly, but again, the camera needs a little bit of work. Also, 29 days into this, I've noticed that this device tends to scuff up around, and I'm going to try to bring it up close to the camera so you can see, or at least as close as possible here, so you can see. And I'm going to bring it in so you can focus in, or focus it in so you can see. I don't know if you can see the scratches right there. Not a big deal, but again, I've noticed just by bringing it in and out of my pocket, I've gotten some hairline scuffs on the device. And actually, if you hold the device in your hand, you'll notice there's a little bit of a lip on the exterior of the display right before it curves around on the side. I've gotten some scuffs there and some scuffs here as well, just by bringing it in and out of my pocket and dropping it onto carpet, things like that. So keep that in mind. I'm 30 days in, and that's a little bit of a challenge. But beyond that, haven't had any issues with the display or scuffing of the display. The back still looks great, even after putting it in my pocket multiple times. And I love the lost my train of thought. Motorola's customization software, which you can do through AT&T. Totally at a loss of words right now, but that is okay. That you can do through AT&T, the Design It process, where I can go through and select the back, the accent colors, and of course the front between black and white as well. Now, a lot of people have asked me on Twitter and on Facebook already how KitKat, or Android 4.4, the newest released, or the newest announced version of Android, is going to fit into the overall strategy of the Moto X. I would expect it to be one of the first devices to get KitKat, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm not privy to any sort of secret plans or anything like that, but still, I would take it that the Motorola devices, the devices that are more stock, the Google Play Experience 1, Google Play Experience Galaxy S4, will most likely be some of the first to receive Google's newest operating system. The KitKat statue was erected today outside of Google's headquarters. So that is pretty cool all around. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com. I'll have one final video on the Moto X as part of the 30-day challenge, so keep it locked right here. I'm on Twitter as well at PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker. Let me know what you think of this device, and more importantly, if it's a device that you would carry on a regular basis. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the final update video on PhoneDog.com. I'll see you next time.